Guys, so normally when we are making pancakes, typically the day that we lab plan, we also go ahead and pre-measure our liquid and our dry ingredients. But with me not being there today, that makes things a little bit more difficult. So we are going to go ahead and kind of plan a little bit differently so that we can get our ingredients a lot quicker versus having the waiter have to measure everything themselves. So we're going to go ahead and fill out that lab plan sheet. I'm going to go through the recipe with you. And then that should hopefully set us up a little bit better for tomorrow and being able to complete our pancakes and have time to eat and enjoy them. So for our recipe, if we look, the green ingredients are going to be our liquid ingredients. So let me actually start with our lab number. Forgot to tell you guys that. So we are following lab number 1 for jobs. So let's fill out our jobs first on our lab planning sheet. Who is head chef, assistant chef, host, and waiter. And then once we get that done, we can fill out that first column of ingredients. So we're going to write down that we need 1 egg, 1 cup of milk, 2 tablespoons of oil, 1 cup of flour, 1 tablespoon of sugar, 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and half a teaspoon of baking soda. So what we are going to do to help make this quicker is whoever is the assistant chef, you are also going to measure with the waiter. That way, the head chef can go ahead and get the different items in the kitchen you're going to be needing, your skillets, your whisk, your turner. They can get all of that stuff out in the kitchen tomorrow, while the waiter and the assistant chef are doing the measuring. So what we are going to do is we're going to separate our dry and our liquid ingredients, okay, and who is measuring what. So our assistant chef, you are going to take care of the liquid. Oops, doesn't want to go on that side. You are going to take care of the liquid ingredients. So you are going to come up and you are going to crack 1 egg into, okay, the blue bowl. Then you are going to measure the 1 cup of milk using a liquid measuring cup. And that is going to get also poured into the blue bowl. And then you are going to measure the 2 tablespoons of oil, bringing a tablespoon up with you. And those 2 tablespoons of oil will also go into the blue bowl. So assistant chef, you're just going to go ahead and take care of all of those liquid ingredients. And you're going to then bring that back to your kitchen. And you are going to go ahead and whisk those things up nice and well together. That way that egg gets broken up into the milk and the oil. Everything gets mixed up really well. While the assistant chef is taking care of those liquid ingredients, waiter, you are going to take care of the dry ingredients. So waiter, you're taking care of those items, and you are going to need your green bowl for this. So waiter, you should be bringing your green bowl up with you. You're going to bring a dry 1 cup. You're going to bring a tablespoon. You're going to bring a teaspoon and a half a teaspoon. All right. So you're going to bring all of those items with you on your tray with your green bowl. And you are going to measure all 4 of those dry ingredients right into the green bowl and then get that back to your group as well. Okay, that way those things are getting measured quicker and they are back to your kitchen as soon as possible. All right, so to refresh, assistant chef, you are taking care of the first 3 ingredients, all the liquid items, those are going right into your blue bowl. So the cracked egg, the 1 cup of milk, and the 2 tablespoons of oil, you're bringing that back to your kitchen and you are whisking it together nice and well. Then the waiter, you are taking care of the last 4 ingredients, all of the dry items. You are bringing up your green bowl with you so that as you measure these items, they're going straight into your green bowl. Now, when you guys get back to your kitchen, then we can go ahead and actually mix up the pancake batter. All right. Head chef, while that is happening, there is different equipment you are going to be getting out of your kitchen. So this should get filled out at the bottom of your lab plan. All right. Head chef, you are going to want to be getting 2 skillets so that we can be cooking more pancakes side by side. And then we are going to need our turner. Okay. You are going to need to get the whisk out so that your assistant chef has it when they need it to mix the liquid ingredients together. And then you'll also need it anyways once you need to stir the dry and the liquid together also. Okay. You are also going to want to get out a butter knife. We will have some butter for you guys to grab to go ahead and put into your skillets while you are making your pancakes. Okay, we'll probably give you guys all about 3 tablespoons or so to go ahead and divvy up and use as you're cooking those pancakes. Now, as far as the recipe goes, all right, we have in a mixing bowl, head chef is going to add all the dry ingredients in there, which we will already have done in the measuring phase. At that point, head chef, you're going to create this small kind of well in the center of those dry ingredients. And then we're going to pour those liquid ingredients that have been mixed up into that well. At that point, you are going to stir those liquid and dry ingredients together just until everything is mixed. Biggest thing is your batter will have some lumps to it, and that is totally fine. You do not want to over mix your batter. Okay, so we're mixing it up. It will mix very quickly together. We don't want to over mix. It's okay if there's lumps and bumps in the batter. At that point, we are ready to go and cook. So you're going to go ahead and grease your 2 skillets with a little bit of butter. Okay, we should have our skillets on a nice, just medium heat. We do not want a high heat. We'll burn the butter and we will burn our pancakes. All right, so once that butter is melted and that pan is greased, we're ready to go ahead and pour in some of our pancake batter. Okay, we typically are going to go ahead and use about 1/4 of a cup of batter. Okay, to go ahead and make 1 pancake. So you can take just a dry 1/4 measuring cup and go ahead and fill that with some pancake batter. And then you just are going to pour that into your skillet. Okay, if we remember when we talked about in our quick bread notes, okay, this is a pour batter. So it is going to be nice and thin. It will pour out very easily into our pan. All right, so we're going to pour 1/4 of a cup of batter into our skillet. And then what we are looking for when we are cooking pancakes, how do we know when to flip them? We are going to look that the surface of the pancake is covered in bubbles. So if we look at this picture here, you can see all these little bubbles. That is what we want to see before we flip the pancake. If we try to flip it too early, it's really light and floppy and it's going to end up folding on itself and it becomes a real mess. So we want to see all those nice bubbles. And then at that point, we can go ahead, use our turner to go ahead and flip it, cook on the other side. Once we flip it, it really doesn't need really a long amount of time. We want to go ahead and just let it get nice and brown on the bottom, and then we're ready to serve it up. All right. At that point, we'll have additional butter if anybody wants it. We will go ahead and have some pancake syrup, and we will have some Cool Whip for you guys to eat. All right, so make sure we're looking this over, fill out our lab plan, and knowing who's doing what job.